Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It's Saturday morning. It's a little bit spring-like outside, but it is the 20th of April, so you would hope that it would be a little bit spring-like. Usually it isn't, therefore it's a noteworthy thing. Alright, so sticking with the Sebastian Rogers case today, and for the last few videos I've been focusing on the theory that Sebastian ran away of his own accord, of his own volition. And somehow he's got lost. You know, where might he have been going? What was his plan? Did he have a plan? Did he just like going out walking? Well, we know from the dispatch audio from the morning of the 26th of February, the day that Sebastian went missing and was reported missing, that he did like to go walking in the neighbourhood. A neighbour had seen him, a different neighbour had seen him hiding under a vehicle. So Sebastian did have a track record for wandering about the neighbourhood. That's not running away, that's just wandering about in your neighbourhood. Maybe that's what Sebastian was planning this day as well, but something dreadful went wrong. So that's what I've been talking about the last few days. And, you know, most people in my comments don't agree with me, and that's fine. We're all entitled to our opinion. None of us knows what happened to Sebastian. Everything is just theory. But I try to base my theories on logic. What's the most likely scenario? Practicalities. Could this particular theory have happened in real life? And the most important, what do we know as fact? Right, so in this video, I'm going to switch it up and say, what if the parents are guilty? And for the purposes of this video, it could be any one of the parents. It could be Katie, could be Chris, who is Sebastian's stepdad, or it could be Seth, Sebastian's bio-dad. So what if they were guilty? And I'm not wanting to focus so much on motive, but practicality. How could they have done it? And to investigate that possibility, we have to go back to the cameras. So let's go. Now let me back up a little bit here. A week or so ago, the days all just meld into one, I made a video that included my top 3 theories. And at that time, my number 1 and number 2 theories were kind of closely aligned. I think my number 1 theory at that time was that Sebastian had left to meet someone. I'm not as convinced about that now, because if he'd gone to meet someone who he'd met in real life and there was no trace of it on his tech, that's one thing, and that's very, very possible. Also is very possible is Sebastian just going out for a walk, wandering about his neighbourhood, and him meeting some nefarious person. Unfortunately, that does happen. So that's on the cards as well. I'm not convinced now that Sebastian went to meet someone who he'd met online. Because look, the FBI, yes, the FBI have been involved, guys, come on. The FBI and the Secret Service have been involved. The Secret Service are called in missing child cases when they want a really deep analysis of the tech, because they've got all the best kit, you know, spies and stuff. They've got all the best kit. They've been involved, so if Sebastian had met someone online, I think they'd have been able to trace them. I think we'd have had an arrest by now. Do you think? It's nearly 2 months. I don't know. Maybe not. But it's still on the cards, can't discount it. Now, my second theory was that he ran away of his own volition. Maybe he was upset, maybe he just wanted to get away, maybe he was scared, all of those things. But, again, since we know now that he liked to wander about in his neighbourhood, what if that was the thing, that he intended to come home, but he got lost, he got trapped? Could have met a nefarious person, as I said. But what if he just got lost, he got trapped, and sadly he passed away? It was a warm night, it was in the mid-50s, regardless of what all of the people in my comments said from yesterday's video, that no, it was in the 20s. No, check the weather sites, whichever weather site you want that has past weather, and it was warm, mid-50s. Now, some people are saying mid-50s isn't warm. It's not hot, and it does depend on what you're used to. But for Hendersonville in February, it was quite cold, apart from those couple of days and nights, like the 25th into the 26th and then into the 27th, and then after that it dropped cold again. it was warmer than it had been. So it's all relative, isn't it? Like if you live in a really hot climate, 55, it's going to be freezing to you. It's not to me. That's just a nice average temperature. It was actually only 45 degrees when I went out this morning, and I had a t-shirt on and a hoodie over the top. And honestly, after about 45 minutes of walking, I was sweating. I was glad to take that hoodie off. But it's all relative, I understand that. Let's return to the cameras. We do have quite a bit of information about these cameras. Now, there's a camera on the corner house on Stafford. That's the camera that caught the lights. And Gray Hughes has done a really good video about those lights and where they are. So the bit that we've seen is this bit here. Like that. We've seen a tiny portion, actually less than a quarter. That's what we've seen. Those are those two lights. That would have been subject 1 on Nick Berris's video. And then that strange thing that looked like a strange light or something I thought could have been the trash truck actually was a truck. But it was a truck from 1001 Stafford. That's all we've seen. We've actually seen like this much. Tiny amount. That's what we've seen. But actually, this is the full video. Gray Hughes has done a great video showing exactly where these lights were, where this light was, and where the trash truck was. But I'm not talking about that today. I am going to use that though. And again, that is this camera. It's a wide angle lens. And it's looking down the road. This is Stafford Court. So Sebastian lives just behind that house. And the dog track, Chris Proudfoot said, the dog tracked him. So you can see Sebastian's house behind there. The dog tracked him across this backyard here. And then up Kelling. So from Sebastian's house, across this backyard, and then up Kelling. So across this backyard and up Kelling. But there's loads of cameras. These houses all along here all have cameras. We heard that from the dispatch audio. All of these, I'm going to tidy this up at some point, but all of these houses where the red crosses are have cameras. And there's probably more, but some of the people on the 26th of February weren't in. So when the cops went door to door, I'm sure they went back and canvassed again the people who weren't in. And then importantly, the camera here and the camera here, 2 cameras there, but the people weren't in. Right, they're the most important ones in my opinion, because they capture people going out. As long as that camera is in range. So we know that no camera picked up Sebastian going this way. But why? Well, it's because they were too far away. Did the measurements yesterday, so we'll get the measurements up again. So if Sebastian ran away, coming from, this is Sebastian's house here, so coming along here through someone's backyard, this camera isn't going to pick it up. How do we know that? Well, that's what it was like at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's how dark it was. So if I spin this to make it easier to work out, that's the light on this house. That's the light. That's Nick Berris's subject 1. Alright. So camera's here. Light is here. Those other 2 lights are up here somewhere. But Sebastian would have come this way. Through like this. Alright, so this camera, no hope of seeing him because he was wearing black. Look how dark that is. Now, some people have said, well, my night vision camera would pick someone up, picks everything up. Well, how do you know it picks everything up? Because what, do you stay up all night watching outside and then checking to see if your camera got it? I mean, come on. Well, I went and had a look. So top quote here is from ring.com about Ring cameras, and we know that some of these on Kellen were Ring cameras. I don't know how many. I haven't actually counted how many the officer said were Ring doorbells, but motion detection range on a Ring device is up to 30 feet. All of these houses on Kellen, measured them yesterday, are more than 30 feet. So this one's a shorter driveway. I mean, just to that corner there, 67 feet. I mean, don't know where the door is, but just rough and ready. 63 feet. And that's not even to the front door. 80 feet. So they're further back than you think. So that's Sebastian's house there. Sebastian would have come across here. This security camera isn't a Ring bell, but we know what it can see. And it can't see very much in the darkness. Even the trucks on that driveway are dark, aren't they? You can only see them with the light coloured. No way would it see Sebastian. No way. But what about a really good CCTV system? Some advanced night vision security cameras have a range of 100 to 200 feet. There are many features that can affect and impact your security camera's vision range. Well, if somebody had an advanced security system with night vision, would Sebastian have been picked up? Maybe, but still, wearing black. I don't know. As I said though, this video is about if the parents were guilty. Alright, we've got to stick with the cameras though. Let's think about it. Let's imagine that Katie completely flipped her lid and killed Sebastian, in a fit of rage. So now she's got this dead body. What does she do? Well, maybe she rings Chris. And Chris does the 3.5-hour journey back to Hendersonville from his RV park in Mississippi, just over the state line, because he works in Memphis. Left his phone there, because the phone would have just tracked him. And he drove back to Stafford Court. And he's got to get into the neighbourhood. There's only one way into this neighbourhood. There's only one way in, up Kellen. So, comes up here to here. Now, how many cameras would he pass? Well, we know there's a camera here, and there's a camera here. We know there's a camera here on the corner. I hear you say, Michelle, though, you said that security cameras aren't very good at night. At night, CCTV systems, we're not talking about Ring doorbells, none of them would have been activated if they've got a maximum of 30 feet. But it's possible, we know from this camera, what did it pick up? It picked up lights. It's picked up the lights on the house on the corner, it's picked up the lights down the road, it picked up the light on the trash truck. So what if Chris's car came along here? This is the road here. So let's do Chris's journey. This is Long Hollow Pike. This is the main road. So he comes in here. So we know there's a camera here. Don't know where it is. But we know it does have a camera. Okay. So we come up here. We know one of these has a camera. And then we know that this definitely has a camera. We know this would definitely pick up lights. If it can pick up this light, it would also pick up lights on a vehicle coming in. And they'd be able to work out the time of that. This camera, we know it's about here. So we're looking at 45 feet. We know there's vehicles on this driveway here. So Chris's car would have come behind them here with lights on. Would it have been possible to make out the make and the model? Maybe. So I think we can say that if Chris had come home to get rid of a body to help Katie, he'd have been caught on cameras. Here, here, here. Then, where would they have gone? So he would have had to come back. So he'd have to load the dead body into his car and come back. Okay, well, get caught on those cameras again. What if they realise they get caught on cameras and instead they went this way? Right, so drove round here. So there'd be loads of cameras here that would pick them up. So they get here, and then what would they do? Drive into the construction site, and then where would they go? They'd have to hide a body in the woods. So we're in the same place that I think Sebastian is likely to be. Whether he went on his own volition and got stuck and sadly passed away, or he was taken that way. Okay, so you got to search these woods. But how far could Katie and Chris have carried a dead body? Well, what if Chris didn't come home? What if he's completely innocent and he was just Katie? Well, okay, so again, Katie's car would have been caught coming out, or would have been caught going up here. And how far could Katie have carried a dead body on her own? Same with Seth. If he'd come this way, you know, if he wasn't working and he'd kidnapped Sebastian, he'd be caught on these cameras. So what other scenarios are there? That Sebastian was walked out alive. So then you've got to take the scenario that Katie walked him up here. Now we know that they wouldn't be caught on cameras, because if Sebastian wasn't, then Katie and Sebastian wouldn't be. So then she'd have to murder him. Then she'd have to murder him here, somewhere in the woods. So again, his body's going to be in these woods. Or she could have gone that way, and his body's in these woods. But is that likely that she's taken him out in cold blood and killed him? We know that they have weapons in the house. Had one of those been fired? Pretty sure they would have worked that out. Possibly, maybe. But I don't think that's very likely. I really don't think Katie has taken Sebastian out into the woods and killed him in cold blood. I really don't think that happened. What if a member of the extended family took him? Well, again, they'd be caught on these cameras. Could somebody walk him here and then put him in a car and take him down here? Yes. Now, what I can't do is check all the security cameras along here, because these houses that are now built are not on this map because it's not been updated. But the potential would be for a vehicle to get caught here as well. And that would be the same if somebody met him on the construction site and put him in a car. There would be the potential, a big potential, to be caught on cameras. So each scenario that you think of, you've got to say, is it possible? Yes. Is it probable, given what we know now about the cameras? No. No, it's not. Taking out motive, just the practicalities of it, how likely is it that someone either kidnapped him or murdered him and was able to transport his body away to a place where it's never been found? Or is it more likely that Sebastian did his normal thing of going wandering about in the neighbourhood and somehow he got lost and has sadly passed away somewhere? Which is more likely in your opinion? Let me know. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.